Cat. Hello everybody. So kind of connecting to my last video that I uploaded. I did say I was gonna go ahead and make a video in regards to all these videos talking about what narcissists don't do, and wanting to elaborate on the fact that this just isn't true. They will do. And I just didn't get around to it until now, so I'm gonna kind of elaborate on these things because I think it's very important to not put too much of a box around what narcissists do and don't do, because you could be dealing with a narcissist, and because they do this one thing that is always said that they don't do, you all of a sudden believe that they're not, and it can really mess with your psyche. So I made a list because I'm not good with not having a list. So it's often said that narcissists will not help around the house or with the children. This is false. Now, overall, they won't help with the house or the children, especially with the children. But they will help. They will help for gain. Like, I did this for you. Now you have to do something for me. Look at what I've done. Look at the perfection that I have done. Or look at how well I keep the house clean. You can't keep it clean. I keep it clean because I cleaned it. I raise the kids better than you raise the kids. I do it right, you do it wrong. That sort of thing. So they will help, but they're helping as a form of making themselves better than you. They're also helping in a sense of using it against you, using it as a tool of manipulation, and just to fuel their ego. Like, I'm so good because I do that. I'm so good because I help. I'm so good because I keep things in order. So this whole thing of narcissist will not help with the kids in the house, false. The next thing that's always said is that narcs are never sick. Narcs are the picture of health while you are always sick. I don't know why this is a thing going around about narcissists are never sick and that their victim is always sick. Because narcissists want so much attention and they want so much catering, they are going to be sick, and they're going to be actually sick, but worse than what it is. They exaggerate. They're the definition of exaggerators. So they can have a mild cold and make it look like it's the flu. They can have a mild headache and make it seem like they are dying. Now, this being said, I have a habit of exaggerating, not so much in the sense of my actions, but my words. Like when I get sick, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. But you really want to pay attention to the actions, not them saying they're dying or that they're so sick. You want to pay attention to how they're acting. They are going to make themselves bedridden. You know, they're going to be so sick that they're bedridden, and you got to cater to them. Not to mention, I've noticed this one. This one's, oh my goodness. So if you mention something that's going on with you, all of a sudden it's going on with them too, but at a higher level. So if you wake up and you say, man, I have a headache this morning. Oh my gosh, so do they. They have the worst headache in the world. If you have a tummy ache, oh my gosh, they've been throwing up all night. If you seem to have a cold, they are super sick and they got to call into work. They are sicker than you. And even though you're sick, you got to cater to them and you got to, tend to them and all that nonsense, because they're sicker than you are. The next thing is that they will not apologize and not take accountability. This is also false. They will, to kind of gain control back and kind of manipulate. They do it for manipulation. They do it for gratification. They do it to look bigger and better, and they will actually do this. But it's a manipulation. It's not true. It's not real. It's not real. And the last, they won't change. Generally, they won't change. There's a generalization of no change, but they'll change tactic. So it'll look like change, but it's not change. It's just a new form. And so that's the basic of this video. Say hi, Jasper. Hi. Say hello. So that's the basic of it. I hope I really broke that down because I'm really tired of seeing those videos. It's all false. Ain't that right, JP? Say bye-bye. Yeah. I'm adding on to what I was just saying. Jasper. Jasper. So the first thing I was mentioning was the help. Another thing I recognize that is said about narcissists is that they're messy, or that they'll leave like messes around a lot for you to clean up, and that they're very messy. Now, yes, I've noticed that they can be pretty messy, and very double standard. Like, you can't be messy, they could be messy. You can't buy stuff, they could buy stuff. You can't spend, they could spend. You can't do, they can do. But generally, some will be very, very cleanly. That way, anytime that you are a tad bit messy, they're able to like bring you down for that. And they're able to raise their own little ego for being such a clean person. So most narcissists, I do believe, are messy, but not all of them. I know one in particular that is very, very... Okay, so I was watching that piece that I was just doing. I was watching it back, and my son took off his diaper. So I cut it out, and then I'm back. And I don't know what I was saying. I think I was ending with... during the time he took his diaper off, I was ending with the fact that I know a particular narcissist who is very OCD and cleanly and like very like, ooh, don't make messes. So there are clean narcissists. So that's one thing. And what? Oh my gosh, I don't remember. Let me have thoughts. Okay, yeah. The other one I was adding on to was the apologizing and accountability and change. So I kind of had to end the original video pretty quickly because mothering duties called, so I kind of sped up. It's okay. I caught you. It's amazing. I caught you. I did. You're okay. Yeah. I didn't have time to pause and then catch them. So I couldn't really elaborate on the whole apologizing and accountability and change, particularly the change part. I couldn't really elaborate on it, so I quickly gave some explanation on it, on the fact that they changed tactic, and I kind of wanted to elaborate on what that meant. So overall, their mindset and their goal doesn't change. Their mindset and their goal remains the same, but they tried to achieve it through different methods because the method they have is no longer working. So, for example, let's just use faith for an example, because I think it's a perfect example. Let's say that the victim of the narcissist is a Christian. And she highly believes in Jesus and the Bible and stuff like that. And the narcissist doesn't. When it reaches a point where the victim has had enough or is making requests like, well, if you just turn to Jesus, I'll stay, or if there's boundaries being set, or just there's no more control over that person, then the narcissist will pretend to have this radical change and this fake salvation in order to regain control and reel the person back into the situation. And so they change tactics. Now, how do you know if it's just a new tactic or if it's legit? How do you know that they're still after the same goal? How are you going to identify that, and how are you going to know the overall dynamic of what to believe and what not to believe, what's legit, what's not legit, what's just a new tactic, and what's genuine and all of that? Well, it overall. So what was I saying? So yeah, how are you gonna identify that? Well, you'll have to really nitpick. And I'm not a fan of nitpicking at things because people can have genuine change, and we all make mistakes, we all mess up, we all fail. So I'm not a fan of nitpicking, but in regards to narcissistic behavior, especially when there's frequent radical changes being made, like, for example, the whole salvation thing, let's say it's happened more than once. They're you definitely want to analyze things that may be happening more than once, like this change in tactic happening more than once. Yeah. You really want to nitpick and analyze. And one of the things is, are they still trying to get things out of you? Are they still trying to find their own gratification out of you? Are there still forms that feel or seem like a manipulative tactic? Like,
okay, guys, if you're doing math right now,
are they trying to gain? Pay attention to their words. Are they seeking out gratification from you? It's best to pay attention to the small details of what they're doing. And do their words and actions line up? That's the biggest one. Do their words and their actions line up? And pay attention to how long these radical changes last. Do they seem to be consistent? Ew, you put spit on me.
No, that's right.
It's still spit. So, are these radical changes consistent and ongoing? Or are things slowly dying off? Like, and other behaviors slowly picking back up? Like, certain behaviors that they suddenly dropped are starting to rear their ugly head, and behaviors that they suddenly picked up on
stop moving your hands while you talk.
Are no longer like being consistent. I talk with my hands because that's actually an autistic trait. Autistic people talk with their hands.
Yeah, I do that too.
See? It's an autistic trait. Maybe I'll make a video on that. Okay, I pretty much said what I had to say, and I made this video longer than I needed to. Yeah. Yep.